Alright, welcome everyone. My name is Paula Phillips, also known as Journal Artista, and it's Wednesday and over on Ustream.tv. So I know I haven't been around a couple weeks, or not couple weeks, couple shows, I suppose. So I'm just going to do a little bit of catch up, what I've been doing, uh, some art, talk about, some experimenting I've been doing with some of the newer Ranger paints, and see where we go from there. So one of the things I've been focusing a lot in a couple weeks is organizing my desk. So you've heard me say now, I don't know for how many weeks, I'm gonna organize my desk. So finally I've done it, but I'm doing it in steps. So over here to this side, I got watercolor stuff. That shelf's all organized. I reorganized my sprays. I separated them into, Ranger sprays versus Lindy Stamp Gang, which is the two I mostly have. I rearranged my paint cart, because I remember the paint cart I had was from Michael's, and I apologize for anyone that was in the pre-chat that's already heard this. I'll be quick. And I just, the drawers collapsed. It was that, fake wood one, particle board wood one. I don't even think they sell it anymore. So I just put my paints into these shoeboxy things. Plastic shoebox, and then I only put one on the shelf, and so far it's holding up. So if you hear a big crash, that could be what it's about. I've been working on lots of different art books, and I'll show you here in a second. But part of that cart, let's see if that topples over. Part of that problem with the cart, like I said, it had too much on it, and I would love one of those IKEA carts, but for some crazy reason in Canada, they're twice as much as in the US. So, but I've also sorted, in order to use them more, I tried to sort different things. So here I've got gold and high flows, fluid acrylics, and inks, and then hopefully, before I just had them thrown in those drawers, right? And I got my Liquitex Basics in the top of the cart, and then some miscellaneous paints. Here are some PBOs, and some old Claudine Helmuth Studio paints, and some soft body Liquitex. And of course, I have other containers that have my Liquitex Basics, the 2-ounce ones, or 1.5, or however many ounces that is. So I sorted all my paints, got that organized all my sprays, and organize, the shelf that sits behind my computer. So little by little, I'm doing some chunks, which I'm pretty happy about myself for doing. So I've been trying to do a little bit of watercolor. Now this is nothing exciting. So I'm just trying to show you how I've been doing a lot of different stuff. A little bit here, a little bit there. They'll fit on the roof, Gary. We'll go to IKEA. Literally, they're what, like $29.99 in the States, and they're, hi Linda, and they're like $79.99 here. So, yeah, and I've also been cleaning my house a little bit too, not just my art room. And I'm telling you, I've been focusing in the week on my fitness, and like I was explaining before, there's been lots of times where I've hid myself, and I've told this before, where I feel so bad or something's going wrong and I don't feel good and I hide. This time I wasn't hiding. I consciously chose to back away from social media for a week and a bit. So I apologize for anyone I frustrated in that process. It's just sometimes, I don't know if everybody else is the same way, but for me, you look at Twitter, and next thing you know, an hour's gone by. And you don't even realize that it's been an hour, or YouTube or whatever. So I had to just that's one of the things Twyla Tharp talked about in her book, was trying to just, we were talking before about Twyla Tharp's book called The Creative Habit. I can't show you it physically because I have it on my e-reader, on the Kobo e-reader. So, but that's one of her things, is to detach yourself for a bit. So I did a little bit of watercoloring, playing around. So remember, I'm still playing. Yeah, we'll be like that. What did the other Vicky BR says that there's that group on Facebook where they show some people taking their Raskog or whatever, I think it's called a Raskog cart from IKEA, the paint cart, and they've got it like seat belted into the back seat. That's what Carrie and I'll have. We'll have our Raskogs to passengers. I can see it at the border. Who are those people in the back seat? Oh, just our paint carts. Oh, yeah. Anyways, so for me, watercolor play is still about learning properties. So you'll see lots of blooms and whatever, but learning brushstroke, and I'm doing experiments with how much water, because like literally that's how far back I have to go, right? I have to practice. So same thing I've been doing before, playing with washes and just trying different things and learning about why why you get this ring around the edge, right? Different things like that. So I did a little bit of watercolor play. I wouldn't even call it practice. That's just play, because that's just kind of learning. I'm still in the learning phase. I drew one face, one bad boy face. Now look, her hair seems kind of funny on this one. But, again, this is not looking at anybody. These are just, I'm still laughing at the Raskog, at the IKEA carts, but they are perfect for paint. I must admit, they are perfect for paint. So anyways, I drew, and I'm starting to wonder if all these faces, and I wouldn't say they look alike, maybe. This one's got problems, but, maybe they're all kind of self-portraits in a way. I'm not sure. Oh, these, well, I showed you before. These are my nieces. My 3-year-old niece gave me a beard. So, I just was sitting in front of the TV and did that. So I'm trying to play with shadow, all that type of stuff. All right. So the hard part about working in art journals the way I work in art journals is that this is how many art journals I worked on simultaneously. Well, in the past week and a half. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And sometimes, and that's just my process. It's just the way I work, because I like working in different books, and I have different books for different reasons and all that type of stuff. And I know this kind of frustrates and confuses some people, but that's okay. Everybody has to have their own process. But lots of times when I'm working this way, I don't have a lot of finished pages. I can say, okay, on this page, let me see. So, on this page, I added this pen. It's like, but that's pretty much, that's how I work. But I did finish a couple of, I don't even know if there's a Sam's Club in Canada anymore. I finished a couple of pages in this book. Originally, this was, in my Midori art journal that I was trying to do a page a day. Well, that failed. So instead of like just saying, okay, I'm not picking it up anymore, why not finish it? I had, 8 pages at the back or something like that. Why not finish it? Doesn't have to be, I shouldn't feel bad that, I got stuck, whatever. Just start where you are and keep on going. So, did a little bit in this one. I had a problem with problems with the Sharpie pen. The wonderful Miko, I was able to turn it around, the tip of my Sharpie paint pen, but I still get those big globs. Yeah, Ustream for me is unnatural. It's a hard, arting environment. See, because how am I gonna say this? Because I don't. There's a. Maybe I should. Maybe there's an opinion. There's a good opinion. There's 2 ways of teach. I don't like to. I teach. I don't know if off the cuff is the right word, because usually not usually, lots of times, most of the time I have a plan, but I haven't already worked out the project. Like I haven't done a sample, right? It's because I like to show I like to show my creativity, not my creativity, my creative process, right? Not just here's how to do it, stamp this, but why. I guess that's with anything the way I learn, I suppose. I'm just projecting the way I learn. It's not just about, okay, put that paint there. That's why. Why that type of paint? Why that color? Why that? So I just have a different process. And maybe I should. Maybe I should go to shows where I've already done a page previously, like a lot of you streamers, do. But I like to see the creative process because I want you to be able to create your own art, not necessarily just copy mine. Know what I mean, Vern? Or do the steps that I do it. I'm telling you why I do the steps because then maybe you want to do it in a different order. Ta-da! Yeah. Anyways, that one I'm off my soapbox. Okay, so one thing I also played around a lot with in the past little while, not so much the dilutions, but I really played around with the Ranger. Where did they go? With the Dina Wakley paints, studio paints from Ranger. Um, and you'll see in a couple pages directly comparing them side by side with their counterparts because I just got the turquoise. Remember before I had magenta, sky, and ruby, and then surprise, surprise, Simon Says Stamp sent me turquoise like last week. I think that it must have been on back order for months and finally came in. But this turquoise, so of course, we talked about this before. This is a time where you can thumb down my video. The extreme similarities in color between Dina Wakley's palette and some of the Liquitex Basics colors. And quite coincidentally, it's the same type of colors that I've been using, or the same color family I've been using for a while, for a few years. But this magenta is the same as medium magenta. Anyways, but I've been really because I want to see what the difference in paint. Thanks, guys. Yeah, see, Blade likes to work, when he works in his books, to start to finish one page. It's all about how your creative process works, right? But, I've tried to stretch myself, too, because I think it's also important every once in a while, if you have a normal creative process, to break out of it. Anyways, so I've done a lot, you'll see in a little bit, and that on one side of the page, I have Liquitex Basics, and the other side of the page, I have the Dilutions. Excuse me. Let's get the dilutions out, because I'll keep saying that. The Dina Wakley paint. So one thing I must say is this ruby. Now I don't have, well, as a lie, I do have it in the smaller size, because primary red, which I used, this side's dilutions, or dang it, Dina Wakley Media from right, and this side is Liquitex Basics. Now this looks a little bit muddy because I have other layers of stuff on top of it. So Kelly says Dina's tangerine and Diane's squeeze orange are the same color. Well, we'll talk about, so far the dilutions paint I really like. I haven't tried the tips yet. I wish I had some. But Liquitex Basics primary red. So the colors are similar, and you'll see it on other pages. I'll show you, I'll remind you that that's what I've been doing here. The colors are very similar, but Liquitex Basics is more of a translucent color, and the ruby is a little bit more of a transparent. I wouldn't even say, sorry, an opaque color. I wouldn't say it's opaque, but it's definitely more opaque than, but so I've been, and then the Liquitex Basics. So I've been also combining, so there's nothing else in that little book. But I've also been, let's see. I'm seeing how these paints work on top of other paints. I decided to start a new magazine journal. I've had this one for a while. I don't know what Carrie's talking about. Night, Ange. I don't know, Carrie, but if you've got some spray inks, there's Anyway, we won't go there. So this is a company magazine. It's a British magazine. This one's from, I've shown you guys this before because when I first bought it, I want to say I bought it 2012. So I've been treasuring this for a little while. That's for sure. But I like the size of it. These type of magazines, the only time I've really found them is at airports and such. So it's not the size of a regular magazine, right? It's just one of those little mini not 5 by 7 by 9 or something. So here, I don't know what you see on screen, but this, oh dang it, I'm pretty sure, see, they're so similar I can't even tell which is Liquitex Basics. And oh, that's wonderful, Vicky. I forget now which is Dina Wakley and which is Liquitex Basics. I think this one was Liquitex Basics. But even color-wise, they're so similar that I can't even tell. This one's more translucent. Maybe I'll try that. One of the greens was slightly more translucent. But both colors, one was Liquitex, one wasn't. So I've just been doing a little bit here, a little bit there. And so I'm priming this journal for more of a desk, you know, a leftover journal where I'm going to put some, not have any thought to these pages, just kind of put them down. This is the Dina Wakley paint on top of here. So it's, if I were to put Liquitex Basics Primary Red, now I don't know if there are other red color. Liquitex Basics has another red, a little bit darker, that's supposed to be opaque, if it would be similar or not, but Liquitex Basics wouldn't be as opaque as this. But ooh, I also tried, if anybody watched if anybody watched Ranger's newest video on her paints with Dina Wakley and flowy acrylics, I tried. I sucked. Let's just say I've got to re-watch the video. Is that an image transfer on left page, blue and red page, magazine journal? No. You mean this one? No, that's her shadow. Sorry, under the gesso. So there's gesso. It was just thin layers of paint. Thin layers of paint. Hi, Colleen. Because of the thin layers of paint when you're working on a magazine, sometimes you'll still see the stuff underneath. So anyways, I'll show, in my other book I tried it again. Flowy backgrounds. It was bad news. I don't know who tried it, but I couldn't get it. Maybe I need to rewatch it. That's my problem. Because I was probably putting my own 2 cents into it rather than, you know. Okay, Linda. Okay, Dan. Happy Wednesday. So this is my weight loss. I should say my Artful Weight Loss journal. I've been working, you know, again, little by little here and there. Again, playing around with backgrounds. So this is definitely the Dina Wakley side, because the Dina Wakley Studio Media Paints. Dina Wakley Media Paints. I want to get it right. This side is Liquitex Basics. This side, hi Vicky, hi Marion, hi Susan. A disclaimer stamp set from 7 Gypsies. Considering I've used mine like once. Is that the one with all the words? I'm sure someone in the group might have it. Okay, back to this. So I wanted, you know, when I talked originally about these paints, I really wanted to put them through the test of how I normally art journal. And you know, wipe on and layer and stamp and all that goodness. So again, Liquitex Basics, and I know it's them because their green is slightly the bright aqua green. It's, I wouldn't say it's exactly you know, necessarily a shade, but this one is definitely a little bit more translucent, so you can see it. So, but again, I don't see much difference, to be honest. I've also been, I cut out at the Dollarama, I bought these foam sheets. They kind of remind me of, you know, like the old Creative Memories when they first did their 12 by 12 paper lace or cut it, whatever they called them. But this is fun foam. So I've been doing a lot with stamping with fun foam. You'll see that on multiple pages. But I also cut one out. I decided to make my own. See, I'm flipping through my file thing here. I don't know if I can. I don't know where I put it. Anyways, I cut my own piece of foam like that. Just triangles, and that's what that black is. I don't see a difference. Honest, even the way they interact, they work. Um, I don't see much of a difference. Again, this time I was, seeing how the ink. This is black Tim Holtz black soot distress spray. Sorry, upside down. Over top some of the dilution or the excuse me, I want to call it dilution. I apologize. I continue to mix these up. I don't know why. The Dina Wakley Media paint. But this is the background is, was mixing some of her colors and stuff. So Colleen, are you in Canada? Yes, that's the whole part. The whole thing I'm talking about, Kelly, is that in my humble opinion, and I love Dina Wakley. Disclaimer. I have her books. I bought her paints. I have her stamps. I've taken a class in person. But in my humble opinion, yes, the Liquitex Basics, and I mean the shade might be slightly different, but let me tell you, this is slightly lighter, but maybe it's just a little bit more translucent. But I'm telling you, they're almost not only the same colors, and I love Dina Wakley's palette so much too. I've been using it for years. In fact, you can go back and watch, Ustream shows from Burlington where I go over the same rainbow of colors that I've used for a while. I love Ranger, and I buy their stuff, but it's hard for me, especially not having a job at the moment, to spend big bucks on this tube of paint when I can get this bad boy twice as much for half the price. Literally twice as much for half the price. So anyways, that's my 2 cents about it. I haven't tried all the colors. I've only tried these particular. I've only got magenta, sky, turquoise, and ruby, and I've compared them to similar colors from Liquitex Basics, because it's about the properties of the paint, right? To me. So I'm not saying it's a bad paint. So this is where I tried her washi. Oh, then you can buy them at Curry's, Colleen. Curry's sells them, and for a really good price. We're lucky for that. One thing that Canadians get is some PBOs. So yes, I put that black spongy thing on top, right? I was using my cut down jelly plate and doing a stamper thing onto it, but I just made a hot mess. I don't know. And I mean, I gessoed it. I just made gray. So you definitely play for the name, right? So like I said, I've been trying it out, and I wanted to try it with her paints and all that type of stuff. Go back. I'm still going. Anybody? I hope you're not bored. Yeah, Curry's, Colleen, and you'll want every color. How many PBO iridescents are there? I think 5, 6 maybe. All right. So in this one, I did finish. Excuse me, sip of coffee. I did finish. Well, I did finish this page from a while ago, and I just put the sticker from Sticker Nation, the book Sticker Nation. You can check that out on Amazon. I added a little bit of the pen. No, Mickey. You're supposed to be able to write on Diane Reevely's paint, but we'll talk about that later. You can write on any. I'll just retract it. Well, I don't think the PPO. Vicky, we'll work that out for sure. We'll work that out. So I did stamp, and I was writing. But this pen, dang it, I was using it on the couch. I forgot that I have a Bic Velocity pen. It's a 1.6. It's called a Bic Velocity. VELOIC. OIC. Anyways, I don't remember where I have it, where I bought it, or why I had it. Maybe I had it from work, maybe I didn't even buy it. But it's a 1.6 and it's very close. I might have to go out and get it in a bit. It's not as black as the foodie ball pen, right? This one that the Oto one that Ranger now distributes. It's not as black because it's still a ballpoint pen versus, but it's in between ballpoint and gel. Anyways, they don't sell those ones anymore, Carrie? I don't know. But anyways, been working on that. So I've been adding layers here and there. I made a real hot mess with the black ink back here, but I'm working through the uglies slowly but surely on that bad boy. And we all remember Dina Wakley, inspired by her book. I was trying white pens and got some transfer. Trying some glazing and some writing. And again, well, I was just seeing how this is all Dina Wakley paints that I was mixing, the background for the pink and the red and the green, whatever. I was mixing some paint, and then I used that foam plate I cut up, Big Velocity. Yeah, it's not as black as like a dark black as the Oto pen, but let me tell you, it's really good. It's just as good. So that was in that book. I'm still going because I work in lots, and I'll just flip through little by little. So I've also been using these Secura solid markers, and I heard about these from Julie Faye Van Balzer video, and I've said before when I first got them that these, hey Patty, these are super smelly. Super smelly. Like it smells like I told you before, Windex, and like if you have any irritation to smell at all, like this is bad. This is bad. It's not like, I don't know if it'll make you high like Citrusolve, but it's a strong smell. Anyway, but it works. So I've been doing a lot of I've been taking this hot mess of a page, and I added, this is the red, I believe, on top, not white. And then I wanted to see how the the feud ball pen went on top. And some, when I art, I just kind of do what I feel like. Ooh, I added a couple layers of red there. I had to bust out my oil pastels. So nothing else in there. Oh yeah, here. So I've also been taking notes. I forget which book I read it on. It'll probably come to me. But talking about what are my personal symbols. That's my problem about reading so many books at the same time. I forget which one. But what am I drawn to? And what do I like? So, and then play around with them. So I've been playing with certain different circles. But this, I really love how this not pen, but Secura solid marker looks. Like it looks like a crayon, right? But it's permanent now. It dries completely permanent. It's guaranteed not acid free. I'll tell you that. Um, but I really love how it goes over everything. But man, they're smelly. I'm not have to compare them to, you know, the Crayola or whatever, but I mean, this is what they use. Like, this is industrial strength. This is what they use to, like, color on the packaging. It shows what they put on a windshield. Hey, Glenda. Wow. Yeah, Michigan. It's awesome. Hey, CB. Hey, Bridgeton. It looks like almost like chalk. Yeah, it does, Vicky. I see Big Bird. Oh, sweet goodness. Here we go see a face. We're gonna start with seeing faces. Um, did I already go through this one? Working too much on the go. I've been really trying to do last layers a lot in these particular journals. Playing around with the dilutions paint. Now, dilutions. I was racking my brain for a while, and this again. Hey, Colleen. This is just my opinion, you know. But I was like, well, what kind of paint does dilutions remind me of? Because it is nothing like Liquitex Basics or that type of paint. I mean, she calls it a blendable acrylic paint. It's not like a soft body paint either. It was Big Bird. Hey, I've put Oscar the Grouch in my art journal before, and it's strong smelling. But the most I can liken it to reminds me of nail polish. I think that when it dried on my hand, that's kind of what it reminded me of when I was scraping it off, was kind of like nail polish. You know, I focused on the Dina Wakley paints. And I told you before, I watched I watched all their videos to see what they say first, and then I do my own thing after I try their stuff. But she says to use very little. Right? One of my big, she says that the paint dries real quick. Well, any paint dries real quick if you're putting it on in a real thin layer, to be honest. So I was very critical about, you know, how she was selling it. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I was just like, wait a second. Of course it dries quick if you're putting it on like nothing with the, and I haven't tried that yet. I did buy this. If you're just putting it on such a thin layer, any paint's going to dry that quick. Same thing about writing on top. She doesn't specify which pens either. But anyways, that being said, so I was very skeptical at first. But the more I use this on pages, the opacity of it, is that, or would I say, yeah, the opaqueness of it, I'm not sure which is the right word, sorry, on top of my layers, I've really liked. I wish I had other colors to check, like a yellow or you know what, but I'm telling you, so far it's different. It's a different type of paint, which I'm really liking. I wish I had another color to check it out. So I'm not sure if it matches up with some of the claims she says is, you know, to sell it, but the way I put it on, you know, just the regular way, like that's how I test things, the same way I would do my other stuff. I think it's so far so good. It's got different texture. It does dry differently. I don't know if it dried any faster. The thickness that I put it on. Opaquage. I can't even say that plate. Opaquage. Oh, Lisa, which class? Hey, Jean. No Big Brother spoilers, my friend. I saw who won HOH, and I don't want to know anymore. I was already crying. Yeah, I know, Jean. I know. Anyways, I hope I'm not boring anybody or rambling or sounding whatever. I'm just trying to share information of the experiments that I've been given. Not the experience I've been given, the experiments I've done. And I guess a week without talking to you guys, I can't stop. She used the blending tool. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that, Lisa. I even, like I said, I even bought the tools. I love Ranger. I've loved Ranger for years and years and years. But this is a different paint, I must say. I was skeptical at first, but the more I use it, the more I like it. And I have, you know, I have multiple different types of paint, right? I mean, we've got golden and PBO, and this is a different. It reminds me of nail polish. Does anyone else feel the same? And especially makes me think about it because when she talks about, you know, you can't leave it open and how it crusts on the edge, I'm not saying it's nail polish. That's just me. I just mean that that's the closest, you know, kind of like when I say light molding paste is like marshmallow fluff. That reminds me, she has a blending tool for each color. That's what she shows on her videos. But, you know, I don't use paint like that. I've been using it just the regular dab, dab, dab. Because I have to go over different layers. You know, I bought the paint, you still want to incorporate it on your own style. This is a hot mess. I don't know why I stopped on this hot mess. I should put it on something else more interesting. I'm trying to find where I use this red. Again, more of those circles, lots of splots. But see, those ones are hard. Ooh, there's some of that red right there. And it does go a long time. So, I'm telling you, there's something about, and red's hard. But now I've got to try other, I would really love to try other colors. But don't take my word for it yet, because the only thing I've used Dylusions paint for so far is to sponge with this sponge. But so far, I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed, actually. Anyway, so far so good. Still going strong. So lots of times you'll see me do a thing, you know, you saw, I know there's a lot of people got some happy mail this week in a bit. Glad to see everybody got it, except for one friend. I hope she's okay, but she's in Texas, so hot mess and crusty bits. Bridgeton, sorry, crusty. Hashtag crusty bits. Yeah, she says if it gets thick, spray it with some water. Yeah, I read. But I do like it. It's a different paint. It really is a different paint. So far, so good. So now I just got to try out how is it going to interact or react with the way that I use paint. You know what I mean, Vern? What is Linda oohing about? Oh, yeah. So, but at the same time, I was making some of those ATCs. I think Joyce had showed one. And I tried to pop into Joyce's, you know, when people get happy mail. But, you know, for example, I was working on this. Oh, and I did see Zandra's recording where she thought that that the shininess was PBO, but it's actually Lindy Stamp Gang sprays. Yeah, and PBOs. We just talked about that, gee, because gotta love those. Well, you missed the first part, Gene, because I did organize all my paints. You'll have to watch recording. I've been busy. So again, I've been using some of the red paints. See how they react. This one I did that stampy thing at the top. Hot mess, hot mess. So I'm adding a little bit, you know, layers here and there. Nothing else exciting in here, maybe. Trying out different things. But I am using, like as Jonathan, the Artistic Biker Blade, said, I am trying very hard, more consciously. Well, let's see. How am I going to try to say this? In these two journals, I'm putting conscious thought to each layer, if that makes sense. I may not sit down and finish a page from start to finish, but I am deciding what layers to put down. Whereas, you know, a lot of these beginnings, I'm not even thinking about it, right? This is also Dylusions paint here. I'm not even thinking about it, I'm just putting layers. You know what I mean, Vern? But I do try to consciously, every once in a while, do some. So in these books, I really am trying to think through of well, you said, Blade said that he sits down, does one page, start to finish, and goes on the next page, start to finish. So I'm trying to do that a little bit more in that book. And lastly, I think I got a couple. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at this. So in this one, I know it's hard to tell because I've got a bunch of layers going on. These fours, it was a dilutions paint. I just like it. It's a rich, you really don't need a lot. I think I don't use, quite as little as she does necessarily, but I really like this color. Again, playing with that same thing. So I do the same type of things across multiple different books. Right? I added. Oh yeah, see? Do more tomorrow than I did today. Hot mess. Look at how awesome. I must give a shout out to our wonderful friend Patty Tully Parrish because look at how awesome the arrows. Dang it, it's not called arrows. She's gonna kill me. I call it arrows, but this is a 6x6 stencil from iStencils. It's my favorite design. One of my favorite designs in a small size. I like to call it arrows, but it's not called arrows. Tribal squares. I love how that looks. So, couple layers. Playing around with some blues. And hot mess. More hot mess. And that's it. I know, Patty. It's tribal squares. I know it's tribal squares. But I haven't compared colors, the dilutions, but their paints are totally different. Unlike, when we did the test a while ago of the dilutions versus dilution sprays versus the Tim Holtz Distress sprays, and I don't see a difference. Maybe the spray nozzle is slightly different, but that could just be, slightly color difference, but, that's probably it. But the paints are completely different than any other paint that I've tried, other than nail polish. Ooh, and lastly, I should say anyways, that's all I've done. Again, amidst lots of organizing and such. That's ginormous. So I've just been kind of doing a little bit here. I got random. What is this? Is stuck. See, I did this at the Dina Wakely class. Uh-oh, that's bad news. Dang it. Well, here's a lesson for tonight. If you're gonna put a piece of wax paper so your pages don't stick together, try using a piece of wax paper that's big enough for your book. Oh, sweet goodness. Riser front. Well, that's permanently glued. Anyways, that page is a hot mess. I should have just glued them all together. Let me go back here. So I wanted to see how the I was still working with the Dina Wakely paint, but no, it wasn't dry blade. That was my problem. That I put that in there because I was working on another page. It wasn't dry at all. You know what I mean? Like because I work on multiple pages, I just usually, stick something in there, go on, like this, same thing. What the fluffy? But at least this one was big enough for the whole page. So I was using her paints to see how it went over some sprays I had. This is a stencil from Stencil Girls. Is it Jane Davenport stencil? I did a blog post on that a long while ago. No, I forgot what I did in it. Anyways, but I was testing at what happened, with her paint. So I went over, this is Dina Wakely paint, went over some spray ink in the background, and again, it acts exactly the same as Liquitex Basics. So I'm talked out. Now what do we want to do? What the fluffy? What you guys want to see? Anything? Saw all that. What do we want to do? I was too busy thinking of all the things I had to talk about and show you that I didn't plan on anything to actually do. I say what the fluffy all the time. I would say what the flock because I think that's hilarious. But, I speak fast sometimes, a lot of times, and if I spoke that really fast and I said what the flock, like, it's not going to come out right. Is anybody, yeah, who's, let's see if, maybe we'll finish up, let's see if we can finish a page. Let's see. Yes, Bridgeton asked about composition books. I use a lot of composition books, art journals. I have from art journal number 2 or 3. So for many years, I love the size. I keep coming back to them, but I have lots of different, art journals from a lot of different manufacturers. But I think there's something about the size. I glue 2 pages together with a glue stick before I do any work on them, and that's because I do a lot of rubbing paint off. I'm very rough with the pages, so if I didn't, then it would rip. Let's see. We'll just continue. I'm going to find a book that's already been gessoed. Yeah, I don't think you can be excused from Ustream for swearing. I just really try. I really try not to. I don't want to offend anybody. In real life. Yeah. I might be dropping a few. But I really try not to. It was just. I never really swore at home, but working in a factory, forget about it. But then I could turn it off when I went home again. But let's see. Well, let's work on some of that. Let's do the good old gesso ghosting on black gesso. Now, we haven't done that in a while. So my favorite black gesso is golden. I guess it's one of those, if it ain't broke, why fix it? I haven't tried or compared any other company's black gesso. Actually, I lie. I believe I tried Liquitex a long time ago. But I really like Goldens. It does last a long time. It's very matte. It's very dark. And it's got lots of good tooth. So I gessoed this so we don't have to watch this all over. Watch gesso dry, or me use the heat gun. I gessoed this a long time ago. I was trying out some white pens, just some, the Zig gel pen, not Zig, Sakura, excuse me. And when I was writing on the other side of this page, and I was writing pretty hard, well, some of it, some of this writing I wanted recessed, so that I used brown ink, and then there's black on top. But writing, I'm a hard writer anyways. I put a lot of pressure. Night, AJ. Sorry, chat's moving by fast. I apologize if I didn't say hello to you directly, but I'm so happy everybody's here. Hi, Pam. Thank you guys for coming. Now I forgot what I was talking about. I was doing this. Why was I doing this? Drink some coffee, Paula. Sorry. Yes, I write really hard. I press really hard, especially if I'm using a ballpoint pen. Always have. So when I did that on this page, it caused the this is Sakura ink to transfer. Can you see that there? There's one of my mantras. Sorry. I write, you'll see it everywhere. So instead of, I am fit and lean is one of my mantras. Because my goal, I want to be fit. Long story short. Okay, black gesso. You could try this with black craft paint. And I think a long time ago, when we first did this technique, let me try to find my book. I see lots of people around, but I first saw the term ghosting from our wonderful friend Les Herger of Comfortable Shoes Studio on YouTube. She's Comfortable Shoes Stud, just because the studio didn't fit into the YouTube name. And she called it ghosting with Sharpies. And then I watched Julie Faye Van Balzer use the sprays on a Prima show, again, many, many years ago, on white gesso and how they come through white gesso. So then I got to thinking, well, if it comes through white gesso, what could we do with some black? So I dubbed it on YouTube a long time ago. I dubbed it, ghosting with black gesso. So this one was like I said, this book is old. This book was published. Some of these pages were published. October 27, 2010. So we haven't done this in a while. Let's check it out. Okay, I gotta share that with the viewers. Angel, I won't say who said it. I take that back. One of my wonderful viewers says, mine could be today her mantra, while I'm having a fit, I lean on the chair. Instead of I am fit and lean. Oh boy, oh boy. Thanks, Carrie. Okay, black gesso. You could try black craft paint. So one thing you need is sprays that are non-permanent. So that is going to come up through paint. So, the Adirondack sprays from years ago, the Tim Holtz Distress Spray stains, and the dilutions. I've also had, mixed success with the Lindy Stamp Gang, but, lots of times they come through too. So, but I will use the tried and true dilutions. I think a lot of us had. Dilutions wasn't around back when I did this. Believe it or not, this stencil, this is a Crafter's Workshop stencil, and everybody remembers, it's amazing how in 5 years the number of stencils that came on the market for crafters or for us, because Crafter's Workshop had a couple stencils, and boy, did I use that bad boy a lot, because all the other stencils were more, for journaling and such. Anyways, those videos are still up on YouTube from so many years ago, and I'll explain in that video how I came with the technique, and of course I credit wonderful Leslie Herger and Julie Faith and Balzer. So like I said, I did organize my sprays. This is just from a 3-drawer cart that's underneath my desk. I was saying earlier before the recording, I have Dee Dee and Carrie, because Dee Dee says like with like, and then Carrie agrees with Dee Dee, and Carrie always tells me like with like Dee Dee says like with like. So I hear it, which is true, but the problem is I have too many sprays and they don't all fit in one thing, but I did put them in here. So one thing I've done this technique multiple times in different journals over the years. I've shown it, and sometimes it came out as a flop, and it took me a bit to understand course, I can't find the one journal I'm looking for here. It took me a bit to figure out. Rather frozen. I just saw it yesterday. Anyway. So these sprays will come through any paint, not just yes, go check out Comfortable Shoes Stud, which is Comfortable Shoes Studio. That's her girl on YouTube, because she has some awesome videos. And she was some of the first videos I watched so very long ago, back in, when I first started art journaling. But like I said, so if you notice here in this old page, you can see that the dilutions, well, that time there was no dilutions. We were using Adirondack Color Wash, Ranger's Adirondack Color Wash. And you can see how not only, it comes up through the gesso, these circles are gesso, but it comes up through the paint, any type of paint. Well, one thing you got to remember when you're doing this technique is that I need a darker color, like I think this was cranberry, I think they called it, a darker color if I'm going to be using a colored paint. If you're going to put white on it, everybody has to pee? What the fluffy? So anyways, sometimes all I'm trying to say is if you're going to use a yellow spray or an orange spray and then put green or blue paint on top of it, you're not going to get the same effect. Dilutions. Yes, exactly, Linda, because dilutions, in my humble opinion, I don't see any difference between dilutions, Adirondack, or Tim Holtz in any of the maybe the water, like the thickness of water, but they all act the same, in my humble opinion. I'm not saying it's the same. There's probably chemical differences. I don't know, but anyway. So I'm not going to pick the lightest of colors, like, for example, Sailboat Blue. And some of these colors, Carrie, if you're giving away sprays, are like Sailboat Blue, or discontinued these Adirondacks. And, one of your favorite friends. I do have a lot of sprays, though. I do have a lot of sprays. But there are some colors, some of these old Adirondack color washes. And this is what you used to get. Anyways, we won't go into that. We won't go into that. All right. Let's see. I mean, just to show you, we'll use some purple dilutions, and we'll do both. We'll use Peacock Feathers Distress Spray Stains. These are both from Ranger, by the way, and the Crushed Grape Ink Spray. Hey, Darcy. I'm talking hi Janice, what did I say? I've been talking a million miles an hour. Let's see what my heart rate is now. You guys got me all worked up. 94. Heart rate's gone down. Maybe I had some stage fright. So I'm only going to do 2 colors because I don't want it to get too muddy. Alright. But the whole point is, and you don't have to start with a black background, but the whole technique that I'm showing in this particular time, right, when I was playing around with it, here's, just on the craft cardstock. This is an old journal, the wonderful Samantha Kira. I bought this journal from her years ago. I guess 5 years ago. Okay. Nothing wrong with the spray. The sprays never go bad. Alright. So stencil choice is important too. What I wanted to show you, though, I think the biggest impact that I've seen with this, or the ones I liked the most, was when I used the Cathedral stencil from Artist Seller. And I did all this cleaning, and see what happens? I can't find the one book that I want. How is that? Well, I know how it's possible. Don't answer that. Don't answer. Rats. Anyways, if you look at my video, there's a couple of videos up there, but I do use the Dilutions. Well, you'll see the technique, I think, if you go on the Dilutions website. I think that when she advertises that cathedral stencil, she uses that technique. Anyways, let's go back to this. So, first things first, we're going to look at stencils. And I just kind of, what ones do I have going on? I want a stencil that has kind of smallish openings, maybe, and more of a pattern. Like, oh, this one is perfect, or, oh yeah, baby, my tribal squares slash arrows. These are Patty Tully Parish stencils from iStencils. You know I love them. This guy's a virgin. Look, he's only got a little bit of rub off. This one's called Circle Infinity. Or this one is Greek Keys. But that's a good one. Look how perfect. Patty. How did I notice this before? There's so many different ways to make sprays. You can make sprays from liquid watercolors. Nightblade. See you tomorrow, my friend. Everybody go check out The Artistic Biker. Blade 2192. On Ustream tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. I believe that's the time. So for example, Packard Dye made me buy these bad boys. These are Dr. Phil H. Martin's transparent liquid watercolors, but you can make your own sprays out of that. You can make it. Mitzi, the wonderful Mitzi, she made sprays out of old Sharpies. Old Sharpies. We got to play around. Years ago, in like my first Ustream maybe, or my second one, we made a spray with re-inkers, I believe. So lots of different things. I mean, some people use like acrylic ink and water, you know, but that may clog your bottle more. Lots of different things. But look at this. I never noticed before that Patty stencils are the perfect size for a composition book. Look at this. This is 8x10 size. Maybe I did notice it before and I just, I don't remember. Alright, what I need is a little help with my friends. No, I need a piece of, I just want to mask off this side of it so far. A food coloring. And misused re-inkers. There's just a ton of ways. A ton of ways. Okay. Okay, Vern. Now, Adirondack sprays, dilutions, a lot of spray comes out. Sherry makes sprays with Liquitex or food coloring. So I actually bought some food coloring, the fluorescent food coloring, Sherry, to try that. Or faux Sharpies. Alright, Kool-Aid. Yeah, I'm telling you. Hey, Terry, by the way. For me, I've said this the same thing. It's hard to, you know, I use the spray I use. I guess you could write down the formula. I'd just be afraid I would love something and never be able to do it again. Hey, Jean. Okay. So, what I was saying before is that there's a lot of color that comes out. And when you have this, you know, this Greek key stencil, when you have these fine details, you see these fine little guys here, you know, if I'm spraying too close, if I spray a couple of inches off the page, the ink's going to go directly underneath. You're screwed. So I still want to be able to see. That's why I masked off this side. Because I want to hold my hand, you know, 10, 12 inches off. They're just really of nuts. Yeah, fluorescent ones. It's made by, what's that? Not Maxwell House. You know what? That Sherry told. What are those spices? Razor Frazen. Anyways, it's made by the regular company that makes all the other food coloring. Okay, so I'm going to go 10 to 12 inches off. And remember, I'm going to use 2 colors and 2 different sprays. Distress Peacock Feathers, Distress Spray Stain, and Dilutions Crushed Grape. So I'm going to do, you know, in a couple places, but I'm not spraying the whole thing is what I'm trying to say, because I am going to put 2 different colors on. So again, I'm going to spray it high because this stuff comes out super, super concentrated. Whoop! Sometimes you spray the table. Good thing you guys couldn't see that. All right. But the key is, and even then I got some splots, right? Even then, it looks pretty good though. So let's go to the other side now. Uh-oh. Okay, let's try this one first. Hold the fort, or let's flip it over, see what happens. Let's flip it over gently, gently. I'm trying not to get this side onto the wet spray, which is why I'm holding it up. I'm going to take my brayer. Let's see if I can just, you know, if I'm leaving my stencil, let me see, if I'm trying to get the excess spray off my stencil, I think you get the best results when you leave it in your journal. But my problem is I leave it in there and I forget about it. And, hey, Stacks. And then, you know, I end up sending it to somebody in the US. But, you know, we can't do that here. I can't leave it in the journal right now. So I'm just trying to do my best to get, I can see some color. I'll come up to the camera here shortly. But there still is lots of ink left on this bad boy. So I'm going to just put it in my art journal and let it dry like that. All right. So you can see, right, over here, we got some splots. Like, this stuff comes out, you know, concentrated, my friends. Very concentrated. So the one downfall of using a composition book is it wrinkles. You know, wrinklage happens, right? But, you know, what's frustrating sometimes when using spray inks or any type of water is that you get a little pooling sometimes, right? Because it's so wrinkled. It's so wrinkled. So sometimes you just gotta be, you know, be aware that that may happen, like somewhere down here. Especially when you're spraying with these you know, heavy, these sprays that come out so, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of ink comes out at one time. All right. Excuse me. Now, I like the wrinklage. I'm all about the wrinklage. So don't get me. Ooh, look. And I also got some fur ephemera. Look at that. I got Asha's hair. I don't think I have any. I got crazy blonde roots, but it's not my gray hair. Heat gun. So for the next step, we want to make sure this is completely dry. It's important because they're going to put some paint and gesso on top. And, you know, if it's not dry and you start, it'll just move all over the place, right? We want it to reactivate, but we don't want it to smear all over the place. I shouldn't say always. I don't always glue my pages together, or all pages together, but, you know, 90% of them I do. I may have one, and see, these are already glued. And sometimes, you know, glue stick both sides, and it takes a lot of gluage, let me tell you, a lot of glue sticks. But then I do it at night usually, and then I stack it under a whole bunch of heavy books, and it comes out, you know, more flat. Like in my Artful Weight Loss journal, like look how flat. Sorry, my page is stuck together because of the paint. But this is much more flat, right? Lots of times I get extra wrinklage because you know, I'm gessoing the page right before a stream. But again, talking about, you know, rituals when you want to get creative, and the whole The Creative Habit book by Twyla Tharp that I've been reading. One of the rituals, you know, for me, I was trying to think of what rituals have I done, and, you know, heat gun, not really one of them, but for me, gessoing a page, sitting down and gessoing a page before my stream has become somewhat of a ritual too, right? And sometimes I've talked about warm up, without that ritual beforehand, sometimes it doesn't go so well. Heat gun. Or Linda says oil of delay helps for some wrinkles. Oil of delay. Alright, so I'm just making sure this is dry. I know it's an awkward color if you guys see on the stream. Night, Patty. Take care, my friend. Welcome, Lisa. Bye, Lisa. Nice to meet you. All right. Okay. So when you're at this stage, you really have to look hard to see that the ink is there. Now, it's visible, right? I mean, it's a little bit more visible over here because I've got some splatterage going on where it was too thick and probably not completely dry. But when looking at these pages, when you look at the finished page, you can't really see, right? You can't see where that ink originally was. So this is the page that we did on stream 5 years ago when I first talked about this technique. So you can see, everybody knows ghosting through gesso, right? But adding that black in that first layer, now we've concentrated where it's showing up, right? Or concentrate is not the right word. You know what I mean, Vern. That's all I'm gonna say from now on. When I can't think of the right word, I'm just gonna say, you know what I mean, Vern. All right. So the second key to success, I think, in this particular technique, the first one is getting a stencil at the beginning that has a finer design, or a design that has a very close pattern. And the second success for this technique, so it's not too busy, is to have a larger stencil. Like I said, back when we did these, we only had 2 Crafters Workshop stencils. I think this is the journaling one that was circle. No, I think I die cut this circle, if I remember correctly. This one for sure is on YouTube, probably without sound sped up, because we won't go into why I had to do that. But anyway, this was just circles. So we had a big opening. And if I could find that other book where I used the Cathedral series from Artist Seller, it would be really nice. But I don't know where that book is right now. Anyway, let's try a different stencil tonight. And I'm going to look for one that has a little bit wider opening. Excuse me for a second. Excuse me. Wider opening. That doesn't make any sense. Open design. I'm looking for Patty's Argyle stencil, actually, because I think that's the perfect one for tonight. But I just used it the other night. Now where did it go? See what happens when I clean up, my friends? See what happens when I clean up. It's probably in a journal, to be honest. Is it in the Dilutions journal? Sorry. Detour. I did die cut the circles. Vern's in the house. Welcome, Kali Naku. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but welcome. Now, is it in here? Because like I tell you, I leave stencils in journals and then never, forget that they're in there. There's one time that literally Joyceage had to tell me what journal it was in, and she was right, too. She saw, I don't know where it is. Razer Frazen will go into a different stencil. It doesn't have to be that stencil. This will work with any stencil, but we want to be able to see the pattern, right? You want to be able to see the pattern. So let's bust out the other book because I can't find my Argyle stencil. I just used it the other day, so it's around in somewhere. Oh, ooh, my friends. Now, you know I love all stencil companies, right? We all do. It's like rubber stamps, all rubber stamps. I'm all about it. But look at this. This is an Andrea Mattis. I think her name's Andrea. Oh, I apologize if it's wrong. It's Demeng D, not capital, small d e capital M E N G. This is stencilgirlproducts.com. This is number L252. I think her name is Andrea Mattis Demeng. Anyway, she has a bunch of different face stencils. That's what it looks like. This particular one. Sorry, I know it's hard to tell with because I used black on it last time. But look, especially her hair. Ooh, Nelly. We are gonna have some success with this. Okay. And these are 9x12 stencils. All right. Well, I'm just gonna chicken out. Chicken out's not the right word. So what colors did we use? We used purple. We'll do maybe two. We'll do on this side, we'll do just gesso or white craft paint. And then maybe we'll do it a different color or something on that side. All right. So I'm going to take a little bit of gesso, I think. I tend to use a lot of gesso in intermediate layers or middle layers in my work. I think it's because I like the tooth of it, maybe is the right word, the consistency of it, I'm not sure. You can use different white paints that have different opacity. I'm probably saying that word wrong all the time. Different transparency. Well, I shouldn't say that either because it's not transparent. Anyways, I like to use lots of different gessos, particularly golden, and a lot I use the De La Rowney. You can get this at Walmart for $9.99. It's really smooth stuff. I used only golden gesso. Well, I tried Liquitex Basics gesso. That's a disaster. It's like sandpaper, and I can't take that. Opacity is correct? Yes. Stencil Girl also sells Pam Carricker's stencils, and she also has different face templates. She has a cool one that's a color wheel. Alright, so I'm just going to take a makeup wedge. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, probably loud. Alright, so I've placed my stencil. And again, this is one, it has some smaller openings, but it's got a lot of different bigger openings. What I mean is, if I chose this stencil, right? It's going to be so busy, some of that other pattern that comes through, you're not going to be able to tell what that pattern is versus, what this pattern is, and it's just going to look like a hot mess. Right? Alright. So, but this is important because we don't want this messy. So I'm going to use my makeup wedge. Did I say baby wipe first time? Might have. I'm going to take my makeup wedge. Make sure I don't have too much on it. This is dry. A dry makeup wedge. And I'm going to go straight up and down. And almost immediately you're going to start seeing that color come through. Now this is where you don't want to do the twist. So you know how I say when I have, different stencils and I kind of do one of this type of thing if the stencil has especially if I'm using a baby wipe, that type of thing. But this you want to go, and we can do more than one layer if you want it to be a little bit more opaque. But you don't want to spread, or we don't. Maybe you do actually. I don't want to spread the dilutions and the distress ink underneath. I want it to come up, and I want to be able to see that cool Paritali Parish stencil, the Greek. I want to be able to see that pattern. But there is a learning curve. I went really high. And remember, on this side of the page, right, I didn't spray it. I just flipped the stencil over and half heart, you know, I was going to say half donkeyed. But, you know, I kind of used a brayer a little bit on it. And so there may not be as much, that's bad news. There may not be as much ink on this side as when we do this side, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, golden. Oh, yeah. So it depends, Bridgeton. Like, if you want a gesso, if I'm working in my art journals, I use Daler Rowney all the time. I started with golden because I think the Daler Rowney is, it reminds me the most of goldens, I suppose. But it's definitely cheaper. But, you know, if you're going to do canvases that you're selling, maybe I would choose to use. But in my art journals, I'm quite happy with the Daler Rowney. Not that the golden gesso is that expensive if you go and buy it with a coupon, right? Well, expensive is a relative word, I suppose. In Canada, what is it in the US? That bottle is $9.99 in Canada. The Daler Rowney one. Oh yeah, Liquitex Basics. I'm telling you, I was almost... Gosh, I wish I knew who first taught me about gesso. In fact, I don't wish. I'm pretty sure it was Les Herger from Comfortable Shoes Studio. I think she has a video all about gesso. And if I use Liquitex Basics for the first time, like before I think I used Golden. I'm pretty sure I used Golden first. But if I had used Liquitex Basics, I would have been like, there is no way I'm using gesso ever again in my life. Alright. So can you even see it? Let's go. Let's show it. See, I was too lazy. I should have done the same spray here rather than, you know what I mean, Vern? I should have sprayed it rather than just trying to move it because, see, I never have any luck. We only got a tiny bit of it coming through because literally that's about as much of the paint that was left on it. It's $9.99 in the US as well, eh? But we'll see it more on this other side, so don't fret. We shall. It's not a flop opportunity yet. In fact, this may be some interesting. I may lay the stencil back on and add, you know, different colors. Alright, so you can see here I got a little bit of seepage underneath, which means that there's going to be paint, well, in this case gesso, on the back of my stencil. So if I'm using the same stencil again, if I put that over here now, I'd have more smudginess. So I wipe it on my art pants, which are either yoga pants or in today's instance, I am wearing some Old Navy Santa Claus pajama pants. So I'm just wiping on my pants to try to get off some of that. And I'm going to do this bad boy upside down, my friends, just because, you know, I don't want to get into my pile. So, look, we're going upside down again, just like old times. The front of the bottle, for sure, Kate, looks like this. And you find it in the art section, because they sell some art supplies in, like, where the Crayolas and stationery stuff is. But this is in my Walmart, which may be totally different than the Walmart in the US, in the United States. But this is in the art section. They have a totally different section where they have some art stuff. Daler Rowney. It's called Simply Acrylic Gesso. Now, I mean, it's a student grade, right? But let me tell you, it's, I like it. Alright, so we'll be back upside down. Let's see. This girl's gonna come out, I promise, a lot better. Does that look about even? Well, doesn't matter if it's exactly even. Okay, back to my... See, it even changes. See how I've already got some purple on there? If you're really particular, you know, I might be transferring that purple. So, especially this is going to have way more ink. Let's see if this comes off. I don't want to add any purple. I want it to be white. Not too bad. Let's just go with it. The thing with dilutions and, you know, these Ranger sprays, the Adirondack Color Wash, the Tim Holtz Distress Spray Stain, is that, you know, if I cover this, right, with a layer of paint, and it'll come through. If I cover it over with another layer of paint, it'll still come through. Yeah, and the bottle is cool too. Yeah, the bottle, Liquitex, excuse me, Golden comes in there, you know, well, I guess it comes in multiple forms, but the ones they sell at Michael's are in a jar, which was cool too. I used that for a long time because I actually liked having the jar. You know, I would use the jar lid as a palette, especially when arting on the couch. All right. So the thing is, I use dilutions and I use the Tim Holtz, not Adirondack, because Adirondack and dilutions, in my humble opinion, are almost exactly the same, like just different colors. And the Distress Spray Stains, I find some of their colors to be a little light. Like, you'll be able to see more purple, I think, than the Peacock. All right. So as you can see, upside down. So on this side, we only got a little bit because, again, I try to stamp my stencil. As I was saying, this never works for me. I usually stick it in there and let it dry. I should have known better, right? And this side, I got a little. So let's heat gun. Well, you know, Liquitex Basics has a lot of tooth, right? And it is very gritty, but maybe if you're, you know, it's very good if you're painting on wood, I found, or metal, you know, something like that needs extra tooth. Oh, they're both made by Ranger. Oh yeah, heat gun. I think my problem was I sprayed too high, so I got an itch. So see what I mean about a stencil that has smaller openings? I lose all of the pattern because, you know, it's such a small opening. But, well, we can see it more in the hair, right? We can see it more in the hair. Is this all dry? I want to show a little bit better example because I obviously didn't use as much spray as I did in this page. Know what I mean, Vern? I use a lot of spray, but we can work with that. I can play around with it. Okay, so I got a little extra gesso, so I need to go to one of my leftover journals somewhere. I think I only showed about 8 of them today. Alright. It's getting used to your spray bottle. I find this Distress Day, I don't know about anybody else, but it's not the same sprayer. They look the same, but I don't think that I haven't it's already gessoed. I think we need some. Oh yeah, that's bad news. I don't know what I was doing there. Making a hot mess. But see, in these books, I don't even think about it, right? This is just, it's already a hot mess. You know, add a few mindless layers like this. Maybe something will come up. Eventually it will. Night, Tam. A lot of texture, exactly. Saxo Shape says Liquitex Basics works with big canvases and stuff. So it's when I'm working in an art journal and I'm touching my pages a lot. Like I think if I worked on a canvas, I may not touch it as much. Maybe I would. I don't know. But I couldn't handle it. It was just it was bad news. Couldn't do it. Oh, excuse me for a second. I think I want to find. So I haven't worked on my stencils. I've got some paint done. Alright, let's see. This is one of the cathedral stencils by Artist Seller that I was talking about. See if I can find like this is a type of stencil. This is a good one. It has bigger openings. I don't have this. This is Crafter's Workshop, Julie Faye Fan Balls. I don't have that in 12 by 12, but that's a good one that you'll really be able to see your texture. Okay, I'm specifically looking for some hexagons. I'm looking at this upside down. No wonder I'm confused. It's backwards. It's back ass. Oh, I said that wrong. Bass backwards. Alright, those are the ovals. I see the ovals. Where are the circles? Hey, Ella, hey, bunny. Did I already say little bunny? Oh, the technique works well when you get the right amount of sprayage. I'm looking for a circle. Maybe I'll have to cut my own. I know I have the circle. This more than one, for crying out loud. Oh boy, oh boy. It's gonna be one of those nights. That's two times now I haven't been able to find my stencil. But definitely my problem here was not enough spray. I was too far up. I was too cautious. I passed circles? Okay. Maybe if I would looked at this right side up, I could find the one I'm looking for. So I obviously need there. Oh, I think I see. No, that's not the right one. This is the one this is a Julie Faye Fan Balzer one with the Punchinella type thing. But there's an older Crafter's Workshop stencil that is like that oval one that just has 3 stencils or 3 circles, I believe. There's an option. Also, this one I got stuck. I have to do some repair to that bad boy. Sometimes when you have some acrylic paint on your stencils and you leave your stencils in your for example, there's the black gesso technique. I'm guessing right there, something similar to it. Frazen. But check out Artist Seller stencils too. See, these are ovals. This is the oval one. I guess I could do some ovals. Probably wouldn't hurt too much. These are some of the older Crafter's Workshop stencils, right? This is what we were working with. I always need more stencils. You can, it's like stamps. You can never. There, Gina's right. Look an eye. Oh, and I got the square one too. All right. Thanks, Jean. Almost gave up. But now I do want to do some circles. I'm really tempted to put because I didn't put enough spray. Here's what I'm going to do. I can screw this all up, but I'm going to do it again. Because there's not enough ink. So I'm going to take the where's Joyce's when I need her? Which journal did I just put that? did I put that stencil in? Drink some coffee, Paula. Night, Ella. I know in California it's only dinner time. Over here. So I just put that. See what I mean? See what I mean, Vern? There we go. Okay, I found it. So because I can see some of this, I was too hesitant on the sprayage. Too hesitant. Because the last time I did this, you know, it was too much. So I'm not going to be as hesitant this time. So I can see enough of it that I can put the stencil back. And it doesn't matter if we go over the white, you know, we'll see what happens. Maybe something, oh wait, that's not right. This may be harder than I anticipated. Because that side, let's see, is it this way? Rats! I thought for sure, sorry guys, I thought I could easily position it, but I'm slightly confused about the pattern. Oh, I think I got it now. Alright, there we go. See, it was so light, so I'm going to add a little bit more just to show you here. I mean, it doesn't matter that I already have gesso on it. We could either easily put more. It's 5 in the morning in Holland. Well, I'm happy you're here, my friend. Yeah, it's exactly 11:01 here, too. It's definitely not enough ink because it's not coming through in my, you know. But see what happens. It really pools, right? And then what happens is it seeps underneath your stencil. There we go. Now we have a little bit more. So again, this time, there's no way I'm going to be able to place that, so I'm just going to try it all over. I've never tried it on top before. I've never tried to spray on top. Alright, so there's more on the black now, you know, and when we add some of these circles, let's see if it comes through. The fun thing, and I still got this I need to put back in my journal. You know, I can easily put down that stencil, the face stencil from Stencil Girl again. Yikes! Razor. And put down the gesso to complete the whole process, right? Pecan. Yeah, I'm the same way. 5 a.m. I can't. I've been up every day this week till 4:30. I can't sleep. I become nocturnal. Pecan. So hey, you could do the process in reverse order. You know what I mean, Vern? Like I could have stenciled rather than coming up, it's going on top. You know what I mean? I could have just stenciled the face with white on top of black gesso and then sprayed white on top of it. But I like it. Well, coming up through it looks nice because it's muted and some places are darker than others. All right, pecan. Except we lost most of the blue now. Hi, Sandra. Alright, that's much better. Alright, so I'm going to use this, well, peacock feathers. It's kind of a similar color. It's a turquoise. This is just a apple barrel or Americana, whatever type of craft paint you got going on. It does work with Liquitex Basics, any acrylic paint, same thing. Oh, rats. Oh. So let's see. I'm going to do some circles on top, see what happens. make some decoration. Alright, so here I have a baby wipe. A baby wipe. I said it again. Why am I calling makeup wedges baby wipes? I haven't used a baby wipe yet tonight. So the makeup wedge has a dry piece of paint on it. I don't wash my makeup wedges. I rather just cut off that little piece and look, you know, all good. All good and good. For me, yeah, I know trouble sleeping is terrible. For me, I'm not having trouble sleeping. It's just I've I've literally changed my sleeping pattern. Except you don't want these little random hangy doodly me thingies. Alright. So like I showed in that art journal page from 5 years ago, I didn't have Crafter's Workshop circle stencil then, right? So I had to die cut one. I just used my die cutter. You don't even have to use a die cutter. You can just, you know, cut a shape out of a piece of paper. So I'm just going to do a couple accents on top. And the thing is, you can do this in any order you want. So these are going to be on top of her head. Maybe if I was smart, I would have put these circles underneath before, you know, before the face. And that's a good thing. Maybe I'll try it next time. Good thing to remember is what I'm trying to say. Alright, I'm going to put this right here. I mean, I can always go back over with gesso again. I could replace the face stencil if I wanted to. And put the white down again. Let's see. Maybe on this side I'll put a ginormous. And I'm flipping it upside down mostly because I'm trying to stay out of my paint here. I don't know. Hey, Vicky? I was talking about you earlier, but now I can't remember what I said. It must have been good. Maybe this ginormous one here. We definitely need some lighter colors. Should we try a light purple? Or a light yellow? What do you guys think? And it doesn't have to be a circle. Like I was talking earlier about, you know, shapes and symbols. I just happen to like circles. I think a lot of people like them. So we've got 5. Let's see. I'm going to put a tiny one maybe over here. But what I was saying earlier is that, yeah, changing the order of the way you're laying down your stencils, I'd have a totally different look, right? So you just kind of have to be cognizant or try it, you know, next time. This got me thinking, right? I put this layer, I put the spray, the gesso, sorry, the black gesso, the spray, the white gesso, the craft paint, circles, maybe, or the face, right? Maybe I should have put circles, black gesso, spray, circles, and then white face on top. So the face is on top of the background. Right now I'm pushing it the other way. I think I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. But as usual, see how some of it's coming up? It'll, even though it's already come through the gesso, although we sprayed over top. So there goes that theory anyways. But it just starts to come up. But we need some light colors, right? It's getting a little dark. What do you guys think? Yellow? So I got some turquoise paint. I got a stencil. Let's see where I almost want to put some blue paint on that page. Ah, well. It's supposed to be not thinking, right? Slap her down. Start sponging. Yeah, because Simon's a night, so I don't have problems sleeping. I've just, right now, because I take naps during the day, I've just completely turned my schedule around. So I'm sleeping most of the day, and anyway, we'll fix that. So I'm being less precise in these journals, right? This is just about using up some paint, seeing what may come about, making hot messes. All right. And then if I have like a tiny bit, we can't even see. If I just have a little bit of paint somewhere, then I just take a card, scrape it somewhere. All right. No, sorry, I wasn't. Salmon and navy. Oh, sweet goodness. Oh, they're fine, Colleen, because they sleep right, like I said, their active time. No, here's my thing. I go to bed at 4 or 5 in the morning, but when he gets home in a few hours later, so I sleep for 3 or 4 hours, I get up again. And then I'm up for 3 or 4 hours in the mornings until he goes back to, then I go back to sleep and sleep another 6, if that makes sense. I remember, Jean. That's what I was saying. Oh, no. Yellow? I like to see the purple come up through a yellow, so we'll use a yellow craft paint. Let's see. Again, let's see, I'll use some Americana lemon yellow. So I just put it on my nonstick mat. I know you guys can't really see it. If you want to use this, again, same makeup wedge. This one has some gesso on it. I might use that later. I just go back. Your makeup wedge doesn't have to be clean, but it has to be dry, right? So I'm going to cut off some of that blue there. You think that's going to dent? Oh, boy. Okay, back to the circles. Where'd my circle stencil go? Oh, that's ovals. Oh, maybe now this is where I'll add the, this is also a Crafter's Workshop. It's a Julie Faye Van Balzer design, I believe. Let's add some of this right on top, see what happens. So same thing, I get my makeup wedge. Yellow's kind of tricky because it could be translucent. So the dilutions can be so strong at times that it's going to make your, like, look at my baby wipe. What is wrong with me tonight? Obviously not enough practice. My makeup wedge, it picks up the color. So you gotta kind of work fast and not go over the same spot more than once, unless it's dry. You know what I mean? You can put your stencil, you can dry it, put your stencil back down. But it really, these lighter colors, it's really gonna not just reactivate, it underneath. It's gonna pick it up, and then it'll become a little bit muddy. So see how it's starting to come to life now? Even though, now look, it's gonna come through multiple different. So again, I'm just kind of moving it around. I'm going to touch this one down here. 3 different spots like I normally do. 3 Vickies tonight. Vicky Cook. Oh, now Vicky BR, Vicky Lloyd, Vicky Cook. Awesome. I'm so glad everybody's here. I truly appreciate it. I'm gonna have a little drawing here now. What time is it? I've just been rambling away tonight. I hope it hasn't been too jumbled for you. Too all over the place. And I mean, I gotta do something over here, right? Because I had started this page, you know, I probably wasn't, I should have thought of the placement of this face on this page a little bit better. But anyways, that's just something we can improve on next time. Alright, I'm gonna go almost into her eye. Alright, gotta work fast on this side. We'll be much more prepared for Stencil Saturday. Alright. I'm liking it. I like what's going on up here. But see, you know, note to self. Don't do the whole flippy thing. There's just not enough pigment. But I like how what's going on here. Can you see? Oh, it's going to come through perfect. It's like, you know, if you're not too tentative at the first, or that's not enough paint to do anything. You know, no matter what, if I put a third color on top of here, it's still going to go. It's still going to come up through. But we can barely see any of the Tim Holtz Distress Spray stain. Sheesh, that's a tongue twister. And here, look, you can't even see because I blended it. It's gone so purple you can't even see the shapes anymore. All right, let's take it a heat gun. Well, what I mean when I say I prepare, I have a general idea of what I'm going to do that night, and I have things like we talked about this before you got here, Darcy. I'm not the type that does a project at the beginning. You still see me working through all the craziness. I still kind of work on the fly. I like people to see my artistic process. But at the same time, I mean, before I started the show, I didn't know what I was doing at all. That's all I mean. I usually going to say, I'm going to do this technique, or I'm going to, you know, yeah, have a little bit of preparation. All right. So let's see what happens. We got all this going on now, right? All these layers. What do you think would happen if well, we can just do one side. Maybe especially this side, because there's more. Where did my face stencil go? This is good times. I don't understand how I can lose. There we go. So let's see what happens. Let's put this stencil back down again. So sheesh, all I need to do is introduce an artist seller stencil and I'll use them all. So I'm tempted to see, now we got all that layer on this side of the page. I'm going to place the stencil exactly where it was before. And I'm going to do the white gesso all over again. Then we'll see what happens. I don't know who you guys are talking about, but that's bad news. That is not fun. Alright. So, one of these, I said I was going to use white again. Alright, so it's still got a little bit of purple on it. So, maybe I shall use another. See, I just have so many of them that are dry. This is Matus Demeng, M-A-T-U-S, Mateus. I truly apologize. It's from Stencil Girl, stencilgirlproducts.com. It's number L252. I thought her name was Andrea Matus Demeng, but I could be wrong. You know what, Jean? Oh, I don't want to say it on recording. I can't say it on recording. But yes, that happened to somebody in my family that just couple, that I've been having. And anyway, that's what it was. That's what it was. Okay. Because they had left it so long. Scary stuff. Alright. Sorry about those watching, sometimes we don't want on recording. Sometimes, we don't want to air anybody's business out loud. You know what I mean, Vern? Alright. If you want the dirt, you just gotta be here. No, there's no dirt. I'm just teasing. Okay, so let's go back with the gesso on top of all of it. So it's gonna cover the blue and the yellow, but the dilutions in this case, or whatever spray. I can't say it's distress spray stain because it's purple, so it's definitely the dilutions. It's going to come through. So the gesso is going to cover parts of those, what we just put down, but the spray is still going to come through. So let's take a peek, see what happened. Then we'll be able to see which side we like the best, right? Whether we want the circles and stuff on top or underneath. Again, I'm just trying to be careful. Like I said, when you put it on thick like this, it's so potent. I mean, look how dark that is, right? That, it gets a life of its own. Like, it really never becomes permanent, no matter how many layers you put on top of it. Alright, down here there's a lot of concentration, so I just gotta be real careful. I'm just going, straight up and down. See? Too much. So I got too much purple on my makeup wedge. Somebody catch me if I continue to say baby wipe. I don't know what's wrong with me. Why I'm confusing that tonight. Alright, so what do you guys think? Right or left? So again, we put another layer on, and it's just going to continue to come through. So yeah, Susan, that's just what happened just recently to my family. It's different. What do you guys think? Which side do you like the best? I mean, I did all these extra steps, right? We could have just, if we wanted this page, we could have started with black gesso, spray, couples, colors, and then white gesso last on top, rather than the flop I made. But see, here's the thing. You can always work through it, right? You can always work through it and have something fun come up the other side. We lose some of the circles on this side, right? Compared to this. This has got to be like a now and then page or something, or then and now, or I don't know. But, colors are important. What colors you pick, obviously. Like, this is a dark purple. If we chose, I got peacock feathers. What's the other light one that I got? Light purple. lavender, some mill lavender sponge. You know, sometimes that stuff doesn't come. It'll come through the gesso. You just don't see it as much, right? You like them both, so I gotta work it out. But isn't that cool? So all this, you know, extra spray still remains there, guys. Well, you just can't see it on the on the uh, on the page when it's done, even after, you know, 5 years. Even after 5 years, uh, nothing's changing. But I use a dark color there, dark color. Well, that was back when we only had the Adirondack color wash, so, you know, I only had a couple colors. Like, they only had, you know, how many, 6 colors or some such thing. There's some crackling. I haven't done any crackling in a while, that's for sure. You guys remember that spread maybe from Somerset Apprentice? Well, you guys might remember this when I did this page years and years ago. So anyways, I hope you try it. There's so many different ways. On Saturday, I'll find that other journal because I really love to show with the Cathedral series. I know I've showed it more than once. But the Artist Seller Cathedral series is really cool with this technique. And I'm going to do, oh, I got some gesso. I'm going to do a little drawing. So, wait, your chances. Oh no, this is black gesso, Vicky. You could use black paper. It's a good one. There's so many different crackle techniques though, Vicky, right? Like, you know, that page, I would imagine, because I don't have very many, I have a couple crackle medium. There's so many different crackle mediums, but I bet that this crackling was just the cheap folk art. I'm pretty sure it's only folk art. Man, blast from the past. I liked this journal. We did this one. This one was also published in Somerset. And one of the Somersets. Oh, my wonderful friend Julie. Julie. Oh, it's been a while. Been a while. Same thing if you have the spray. So I had all these hand carved stamps that I stamped with acrylic paint, and then the spray came up. Spray came up. This was done on stream, Paris page years ago. Hot mess. Hot mess. So, I mean, when you first time you try something, it may not work out. Look at this hot mess. Gesso and white glue. I was just going to say that, Stacks. That reminded me of years ago when I watched, I talked about her the other day. Not the other day, I guess it was a few weeks ago now. The 1 Minute Muse. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, she did a video with white glue, but I never tried it. I haven't tried it, but just, I mean, not gesso, crackle, I thought I had another page in here that actually had a page with crackle and not just I know for sure, but I think you have to put the paint down, your base color paint, the crackle medium, let that dry, and then the paint on top, another color paint on top, right? So anyways, oh, I forgot to talk. I just gotta stop chat. I was trying to see how many people we got. 50. All right, my friends, I'm gonna put a number if you want some goodies from my desk. You can put in a number in the chat between 1 and 60. 1 and 60. When I type in go, I gotta type in go. You put in 1 of 60. between 1 and 60. The first person without going over is going to win an envelope with some goodies from me. 1 and 60. When I type go. So I gotta think. I'm gonna type go, and then I'm gonna put it in random.org. So JZ's stirring the pot already. She said stir the pot. She has to take over for Patty. Who likes to tease me. All right. I go to random.org and put in a number because, you know, I keep picking the same numbers, I think. Or close, you know. Because your brain can't think random. 1 and 60. And the winner last time, there was 2 winners, and the second girl didn't send me an email and got 1 email. So I don't know. All right, let's see if anybody. I so appreciate everybody being here, and this is gonna be too fun. And I will definitely be here Saturday night. I can't see. Let's wait. Oh, yeah. Welcome, Blanca. Is it Blanca or Bianca? I'm sorry, my computer. My computer has so many paint spots on it, it's interfering with the chat. Yeah, somebody's tweeting me, Cheryl. Everybody in? Everybody in. So the first person that's closest to this. All right. Yeah, who's tweeting me? So the number, Pam, how many numbers you putting in, my friend? The number was 29. Carol was the one. Carol's cheating. I saw Jean at 33. And I can't see who's close, because... But that's going over. Closest, what do I always say? Who has 28? Oh no, that's... I need help. Bunny has 32. I say without going over, don't I? Welcome from Peru. Wow. Welcome. I'm in Canada. Sorry, yeah, it was 29. It was 20. Oh no! Oh, that was close. I almost put my cell phone right in that pile of gesso. It was 27, but I usually say without going over, don't I? Now you got me thinking, was it 27 or 29? 29. 29. Tamiko Braun? Carol won last time too, so I'll just add a few extra goodies. I know there's some lag, even though I typed stop. Maybe she didn't see it. Maybe she's teasing me. I don't know which one. But Tamiko, my friend, send me an email at journalartista@gmail.com. I know I'm bad at answering emails, but I do save them. That's how I keep my that's okay, Tamiko, because Carol won last 2 Saturday, the last time I streamed. And a type, so yeah, that's okay. I'll just add a couple extra things on Carol's. It's okay. I know I already put done, but you know, I will send both to Carol, even though I typed done, but I know there's problems with the lag. But also, Tamiko can send me if I don't already have. I don't think you've won before. Night, Linda. Thanks, everybody. So hope you had a good night. I appreciate everybody coming out. I hope I wasn't too rambly today and didn't fill your head with too many things you didn't want or care to know about. I had a good time. I gotta use up that. See what. I don't know if I have anything like not in that book. Got a little bit of gesso to use. So Tamiko was. It's okay, Carrie. We got all worked out. As long as Tamiko emails me, and I'll just add a little note about Carol. We're all good. CLA is Carol. So some people maybe don't. Maybe that's why they think I'm confused, or why they're confused when I say Carol. C. Lebusky is Carol. I'm open. I'm sending something to. I haven't finished packaging Carol's anyway, so. All right, using up my gesso. Thanks, Vicky. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate guys. I really appreciate guys being here. And I'll see you probably on the internet. Trying to ease back, or go to as many streams as I can. A little bit here, a little bit there, so I get stuff done. Yet still try to be somewhat sociable. And if not, I'll definitely see you Saturday night. No, it's okay.